So Gavin Newsom was just warned that he will be sued into oblivion if he tries to put in place a gun control scheme that mirrors the abortion law in Texas. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think the state of California needs to stop infringing on our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I also want to give a shout out to one of the main supporters of the channel, which is Savior Equipment. Savior Equipment has some of my favorite range bags out on the market. I use their dual rifle bag every time I go to their range. Amazing products, they're priced really well. So if you're interested, go check out Savior Equipment. And thank you again, Savior Equipment, for supporting this channel. Also, I want you to know that this content is powered by the Firearms Policy Coalition. So head on over to joinfpc.org to help support the Second Amendment cause. Thank you again, Firearms Policy Coalition, for supporting this channel. So like I said in the intro, a cease and desist letter was sent to Gavin Newsom in relation to his comments saying he will pass a gun control bill using the Texas abortion law scheme. Gavin Newsom came out recently and said that he has directed his staff to come up with a bill that allows gun manufacturers to be sued in a way that mimics Texas's abortion law. He said this bill would create a right of action, allowing private citizens to seek injunctive relief and statutory damages of at least $10,000 per violation plus costs and attorney's fees against anyone who manufactures, distributes, or sells any assault weapon or ghost gun kit or parts in the state of California. Then after that, you had the New York Attorney General Letitia James come out and say that the state of New York will do the same and follow the lead from California. In response to these threats, NAGR, or the National Association for Gun Rights, has sent out a cease and desist letter to the state of California, specifically Gavin Newsom, threatening that if he does pass this bill, he will be sued immediately. Now first, what is SB 8, also known as the Texas abortion law, and why is it being used in the context of gun rights? SB 8 is a law passed in Texas that prohibits an abortion if a fetal heartbeat is present, which is at about 6 weeks. This law is different from other laws because it is not actually enforced by the state of Texas or any of its executives, but rather it allows any individual to sue other individuals who perform or knowingly aid and abet an abortion, i.e. medical providers, family members, friends, really anyone. This means that the class of plaintiffs that could bring a lawsuit is very large, and also the class of defendants who could be sued is also very large. In these SB 8 lawsuits, an individual can seek an injunction against the performance of the abortion and also seek a minimum of $10,000 in damages against any violators. Essentially, the law's goal is to have a chilling effect on the performance of abortions because you could have thousands of people file lawsuits all over the place against you for just one specific incident. SB 8 went into effect on September 1st of this year, but prior to that, those opposing the law filed a pre-enforcement challenge in federal court. Now here's where things get relevant for the Second Amendment context and what the state of California is doing and what this whole issue is in regards to gun laws and gun control. Pre-enforcement challenges seek to stop the enforcement of a law before it takes effect and before people actually suffer a harm. However, SB 8 was designed in a way that shields Texas and its executive officials from pre-enforcement lawsuits, since the statute allows only individuals to bring lawsuits, not the state or any of its officials. The enforcement mechanism of the law was designed in order to make it harder, if not impossible, to have a law enjoined. This is because courts don't actually strike down laws. What they actually do is put in place injunctions against the enforcement of a law. Typically, when a law is enforced by a state, a plaintiff will seek an injunction against the state and its attorney general to stop them from actually using that law. But with SB 8 in this scheme, you can't get this umbrella injunction against the state and attorney general since they aren't the ones enforcing it. So that's the mechanism that they created to try to get around these pre-enforcement injunctions. This Texas abortion law recently made its way up to the Supreme Court, and the court did review it. On review, the Supreme Court was only considering whether those challenging the law could seek pre-enforcement injunctions against the state, attorney general, and other state officials who were named in the lawsuit. The Supreme Court found that under prior precedent established in a case called Ex parte Young, that the attorney general, the judges, and clerks have sovereign immunity / protections on this issue since SB 8 and those individuals involved do not play a role in the enforcement of SB 8. The court did find that some other named officials like state licensing agencies may have some enforcement roles in the law, and therefore they let the case proceed against them. So that is the backdrop of what SB 8 created. What California and New York are now planning to do is create a bill that will allow private individuals to sue anyone who aids and abets the manufacture or distribution of so-called assault weapons, so-called ghost guns and kits, or parts as well. In response to that statement that went out from Gavin Newsom, NAGR sent out the following letter. I'm going to read it to you, and essentially this is a cease and desist letter. This reads, "Dear Governor Newsom and Attorney General Bonta, your recent threat to expand gun control regulations in California on home-built firearms and so-called assault weapons is a direct assault on the Second Amendment rights of Californians. Your stated goal of creating a cause of action allowing private citizens to sue their neighbors for exercising their Second Amendment rights is nothing more than a bounty system aimed at infringing upon the constitutionally protected right to bear arms. What you are proposing goes far beyond an expansion of your existing gun control regime. You are proposing a complete nullification of the right to keep and bear arms under the Second Amendment and the weaponization of private citizens to police their neighbors' exercise of that protected right. Such a system is akin to an East German informant scheme where neighbors reported on the political activities of neighbors. That you would consider instituting such a system in the United States is shocking. The right to keep and bear arms does not depend on the courts. It is explicitly laid out in our federal Constitution's Bill of Rights as enumerated protections for American citizens against government actors seeking to disarm and leave them open to the tyrannical ravages of anti-freedom politicians such as yourself. Please be advised that should your state pass a law enacting this type of citizen enforcement nullification scheme and blatantly violate the constitutional rights of United States citizens residing in California, we are prepared to take legal action to protect the constitutional rights of our members in your state. We therefore strongly encourage you to reconsider moving forward with the proposed legislation, and it is signed by Dudley Brown, president of NAGR. So NAGR is making it clear that they will move on this issue if California and Gavin Newsom decide to pass this type of legislation. Those on the left have been after a way to sue gun manufacturers and gun makers and gun stores for a very long time. However, there is a federal law that prevents them from doing so. The PLCAA is a federal law that protects firearms manufacturers and dealers from being held liable when crimes have been committed by third parties with their products. But the people on the left didn't like that. Those politicians on the left don't like that protection, so they're trying to find a way around it. And now California and New York are trying to use this SB 8 scheme to find a way around that law. So we will see how this plays out, but the likelihood is that California will move forward with this legislation because optically it's just huge for them. They love this type of gun control. And next year, we're likely going to see a court battle revolving around an SB 8-like law in the state of California, but that targets so-called ghost guns, so-called assault weapons, parts, kits, all of those things. So I appreciate NAGR being proactive on this issue and threatening Gavin Newsom that he will be sued immediately if they pass this bill. We will see how this plays out, but again, I appreciate NAGR putting out this cease and desist letter to the state of California. And if you guys appreciate what they do, I would highly recommend you guys go check out NAGR. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Al Gore's rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. So thank you so much to everybody who's liked, commented, subscribed, who's hit the notification bell, who's shared these videos to other people on Facebook, Instagram, etc. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach more people than I could have ever thought. So thank you so much for all of your support. If you don't have a comment in mind, just comment down below. Let your comment fuel the algorithm, and that really does help these videos. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and never forget this is built by Arms Scholars. It's nationally maintained by Arms Scholars.